The bale bearing hydraulic system is set up to be powered by a closed-center, variable displacement load-sensing pump. When the bale bearing is correctly hooked up to this system, the load-sensing feature will work correctly. On some load-sensing pumps, a bleed-off valve must be opened to allow the load-sense pressure to drain. The bale bearing comes standard with a load-sense bleed-off valve. This valve is located on top of the hydraulic manifold. To properly adjust this valve, you will need a 3/16" Allen key and a 3/4" wrench. To determine the setting of the valve, start by installing the pressure gauge on the pressure gauge adapter port. The pressure gauge is supplied with the bale bearing in the spare parts toolbox, located in the front right-hand side cabinet. With the pressure gauge installed and the hydraulic pump running, the load-sense bleed-off can now be tested. Start with the valve all the way closed. Be sure not to over-tighten the valve. Next, with the machine in manual mode, hold the plunger out switch. You will see the pressure gauge rise to full system pressure. Next, release the plunger out switch. Take note of how fast the pressure drops by watching the gauge. The pressure should slowly drop down to standby pressure. If the pressure does not decrease with the plunger switch released, the load-sense bleed-off valve will need to be opened. To do this, start by slightly opening the valve. Watch the pressure gauge. When the pressure starts to drop, the valve is opened far enough. Normally, the valve should be open a maximum of 1/4 turn. If the load-sense bleed-off valve is opened too far, the load-sense signal oil will drain to the tank, and the pump will not build any pressure. When the valve is set correctly, tighten the jam nut on the valve using a 3/4" wrench.